Hello, BookTube. This is a bookshelf tour, bookcase 12. And other than the bookcase of cookbooks in the kitchen, this is the last of the downstairs bookcases. And then we'll go upstairs, and there's probably, depending on how you count them, probably 7 bookcases up there. This is a really eclectic bookshelf. Really one of those shelves where you have small categories or where books don't fit anywhere else, which can make it fun because you get to see things and that maybe are a bit of a surprise or aren't in a long sequence of similar books. The first part we've already seen. Now, I've been doing these book sets where I thought it was necessary to make it easier. So if I have a large set of books that all go together, a lot of times I've done them separately. In this case, if you look on the past videos, you see a book set was Winston Churchill. It's a 12-volume Easton Press set. This one's Youth, 1874. This is volume 1. Great picture of Winston there. This one was done by Randolph Churchill. Some of them are done by Martin Gilbert. These came out in, let's see, looks like Easton Press did them in '94. They do have illustrations. So a nice set, and it runs along the top of the bookcase. And then right next to it, I have this 4-volume set, The History of the English-Speaking Peoples. I really enjoyed this when I was younger. They did a condensed version. I think it was called The Island Race or something like that. I don't remember. But the first one is The Birth of Britain. Let's see here. This is 1956. You can see on the end papers here where somebody had left a piece of acid paper inside the book. So when you leave stuff in your books, that little outline, that's what can happen sometimes. Almost looks like a coffee stain. That's from the acid in the paper. So these are from the 50s. They were just what it says is a history of English-speaking people. Here you have volume 2 is The New World. Of course, 1956. The Age of Revolution is the 3rd volume. It's 57. These things would have had dust jackets at one time. And then the last one is The Great Democracy. And that was 58 that came out now. So something I read when I was younger. Was a good introduction for me to some history, and I've kept them. I used to have his World War II set, which I don't have anymore, and then I had the World Crisis, which I no longer have, which is about World War I. So this my dad got me. Best Little Stories from the Life and Times of Winston Churchill by C. Brian Kelly, with His American Mother Jenny by Ingrid Smyer. It's an autographed copy. My dad knew I liked Churchill stuff. He got me this. This came out in, this is a Cumberland House out of Nashville, Tennessee, and it came out in 2008. Then 2 beat up old copies of a biography I really, really enjoyed. I actually need to replace this with better copies. You can find them in book sales, in library book sales and stuff. It's The Last Lion, Winston Spencer Churchill, Visions of Glory, 1874 to 1932 by William Manchester. Like I say, mine are they're well loved. I've read them more than once. Mrs. Little Brown and Company, Boston, Toronto. And this one was 1983. And then the 2nd volume of that. I think somebody put out the 3rd volume. Manchester died before he can complete the project. This is The Last Lion, Winston Spencer Churchill, Alone, 1932-1940. And that was Little Brown and Company, Boston, Toronto, and London. 1988. They have been much loved. It's a fancy way of saying they've been roughed up a bit. Then I have an odd volumes size-wise. They sit on the edge on their sides. Pick up a little dust in the process. Here's a Book of Common Prayer. It was, I won't read the inscription because it's rather private, but it was sent from my father to my grandmother June 9th, 1977. My father was ordained an Episcopal priest, so it was something he sent to his mom. And this was Seabury Press, 1977, so the year it came out. Oh, it's a proposed Book of Common Prayer. So. Then my dad's pastor's prayer book with another inscription from Robert Kerr, the Bishop of Vermont, to my dad from 1977. And I knew Bishop Kerr well. So this was pastor's prayer book, selected and arranged for various occasions by Robert N. Rodenmayer, Professor of Pastoral Theology, the Church Divinity School of the Pacific, New York, Oxford University Press, 1974. This is the third printing. It originally came out in '60. Then this was mine. So it was a Holy Bible with Apocrypha, New Revised Standard Version, Oxford. Pretty little thing. Let's see. This is the anglicized edition, so it'll have more English than Americanized. 1998. And then another one of these pocket Books of Common Prayer. That one would have been, that would have originally been mine, I think, not my dad's. And it's Oxford University Press, New York, 1990. Then this would have been my dad. Get some dust off it. This is the Traveler's Prayer Book. And this would have been by Christopher L. Weber, Church Publishing Incorporated, New York, 1999. And this poor beat-up old thing, another Book of Common Prayer. This was mine from 1975. You see, it was the St. James Episcopal Church, St. John's Episcopal Church. That would have been in Bangor. And then another oldie, I'm going to be done with this section, is In God's Presence, which was presented by the Reverend F. Richard Beale, Rector, Emmanuel Church, Bellows Falls, Vermont, Confirmation April 21, 1974, which was given to me when I was confirmed. So that runs across the whole top of the 12th bookcase. Thank you, BookTube.